Our task is to write the truth table of the logical statement, the negation of not P or not Q. Take note, I have been using the term not to also signify negation just for the reading of this logical statement. And we can see here that inside the grouping symbol, both the propositions or negation of P and negation of Q is under disjunction or. So let's see how do we attack this, but let's start with identifying the number of rows needed for our truth table, determined by the formula 2 to the power of n, where n is the number of propositions identified in our statement. We have propositions P and Q, so this means this is 2 squared, which will give us 4 rows. So we need to come up with a truth table with 4 rows, of course, with the headers P and Q. Don't worry about the operations or the operator not P and not Q. We'll have it later. Let's start with this, and of course, together with the formula, we will be adding here 4 rows. That means P would be our first column. That means P would be our first column, and Q is our second column. So we have here 1, 2, 3, and the 4th row here. If you're going to add here another row for our header, don't worry, it doesn't count with the 4 rows identified in our formula. So let's start with placing the truth value for P and Q. Of course, we will start here with true and true. For our Q, we'll have true and false. Proceeding to our 3rd and 4th row, you will have here false and false for your P, and for your Q, true and false. If we're going to examine the pairs, all possible combinations are there. So where do we start here? If you have a grouping symbol, we start with all the operators inside. But before we go to the disjunction, let's identify the truth value for the not P and another one for the not Q, because this will be subjected into disjunction before negating the entire result. The negation of P is simply reversing the truth value of P, and for the negation of Q, also reversing the truth value for Q. So let's have here for P, this is true. In short, the negation of P is false. This being true, this is also false. Next, for the false, you will have here true, false, that will be true. One problem that you might come out later on is the location of your columns, as to it might become a problem in looking which column you need to prefer for. Of course, for your not P, this is your P. For your not Q, or the negation of Q, you will be looking now at the second column. The negation of true is false. For our false is true. For true is false. And for false is another true. Starting from here, since in our logical statement we don't use any more P and Q, let's look into this as we move forward. Okay, but if there are some portions of our statement which needs P and Q, so you need to examine the entire truth table itself. Now let's proceed to our disjunction. Disjunction is identified by the given logical operator here. We have not P and this symbol, or not Q. Take note that for disjunction, we only need at least one of the statements to be true for our result to be true. Okay, so looking at our first row, you have here false and false. Neither of them is true. Automatically, their disjunction is false. Next, for our second row, you have false and true. We have at least one, that's for not Q. Automatically, the result is true. For our third row, we have true and false. Another one is true. This is true. And for the fourth row, both of the statements is true. This fits the criteria of at least. Therefore, this is also true. Okay? But we are not yet done, as we need to proceed with the remaining here, which is the original logical statement, which is the negation of the disjunction not P or not Q. So earlier we already did the negation for both P and Q propositions. This time we're also going to negate this, in short, reversing the truth value. So for false, this is now true. For true, you have false. True is false, and true, its negation is now false. This is now the truth value for the truth table of the logical statement, the negation of not P or not Q. Don't forget to like and share our videos, leave a comment, and reasonably subscribe to our channel.